Hey everyone, Sirturmund here again. And today we're back with another edition of our Timeless Tuesdays series. I figure let's take a quick break from the competitive mindset before we get to the seasonal and just have some fun. If you're not familiar with this series, what we do here is that we go back to the past and revisit 4 decks that we have showcased in our channel before that you might not have seen around here in the past few months because they either fell out of meta or something similar, or maybe they were very fringe options to begin with. So we take a look back at those four of those decks, kind of revisit them, give them a little bit of a makeover, refresh, add some of the new cards, some of the new power that we can put into them, and kind of go from there. But before I jump to the first one of those decks that we're going to cover today, I just want to remind you to subscribe below if you enjoy our content. We post a lot of videos every single day, and we are trying to teach everybody, how to play this game better and better. So if you want to support us and help us get to our subscriber goals, make sure to give us a sub and give a like below. But enjoy the 4 decks that we're going to cover today, which are going to be Shadow Owls, Rainbowfish, Renekton Akshan, Udyr Galio, and we're also going to have Master Yi Ornn. So those are the 4 decks that we're going to cover today. We're going to start out with the Shadow Owls Rainbowfish deck that I just mentioned. So Rainbowfish was very powerful, right? So Faes in general were very powerful. You had the Gleaming Lantern dealing had 3 health, and this deck was one that I showcased about 8 months ago. It's a little bit of a different variation of like just the Fae package where people used to just play like Demacia with it. The idea here is that with this deck, which again was about, that was all the way May of last year, you're able to kind of combine the Fae package with the Shadow Owl package so that you're able to just kind of like create some crazy elusives, because there's a nice little combo, as you'll see with the old deck list here. There's a nice little combo where you can Mask Mother a unit that has Rainbowfish attached to it, and the Mask Mother will keep the elusive from that unit, right? While the Rainbowfish still goes to your hand, allowing you to replay that Rainbowfish on a different unit. So the idea here is that for the most part, you want to have a lot of Owlcats, right? So we have the Grandfather Fate, and we had the Bando Commando. You get the Owlcats that have Spell Shield, attach the Rainbowfish to them, and now you have a elusive Spell Shield unit. Combine that with the Mask Mother, and it keeps the Spell Shield, keeps the elusive, gets a little bit more health, and also fearsome, and then you get to transfer the Spell Shield to a different unit. Now, this was the version that we played back then. Pretty straightforward. That's kind of the main combo. Another nice combo with Shadow Owls is that we can play the Oblivious Islander and actually reduce the cost of our Rainbowfish. Because one thing you need to keep in mind is that the Ephemeral doesn't pass over to the unit that gets attached to the Rainbowfish. However, the cost reduction is permanent. So by doing our Oblivious Islander on the Rainbowfish, it means that your Rainbowfish will always be 3 costs even when it returns to your hand. So again, that was the list that we played back in May. Here's the list as it is today. But you see, it's pretty much the same. I ended up deciding to keep the champions the same, even though, I could probably go up or down on certain champions. You could play stuff like Nora, maybe have some more value there. But I really wanted to keep the theme of what this deck was about. Really, the main thing that I did in this version of the deck was add Bird. I think Bird obviously was a nice addition that came with Bar after we had already played this deck back in May. And the addition of Bird lets us potentially get the shine on some of our elusives or get them in our attached units like Yuumi or Rainbowfish, because similar to the cost reduction from Oblivious Islander, any buff that our attachment units get will stay with them permanently for the rest of the game as long as they keep going back to the hand. So yeah, so we end up going triple Bird was really the most part, and then just kind of removing. I went down on 1 atrocity because I felt like 3 atrocity was a little bit too awkward, and then ended up removing some of like stuff like the Stalking Shadows and the Babbling Balladeers, which I think didn't make too much sense to me in this deck. So the rest of the deck is literally the same. All I did was 1 atrocity minus 2 of those one-off cards, and then 3 Bird to kind of make it more consistent. And honestly, I'm surprised. It actually ended up doing very well for me as I tried it out, because at the end of the day, elusives with Spell Shield are gonna be strong even in this meta, regardless of how much time it has passed. So yeah, let's jump ahead and see how this game goes. In this match, we're going against Sejuani and Nora. We do have access to freezes, which can become pretty aqua for us. I don't know if the Teemo is worth it anymore. I guess I have to keep it because I don't have any other elusives right now. So maybe we can hit it with the bird. Kind of go from there. We can play Grandfather Fae on turn 2, or we can hit the Rainbowfish now. That's pretty good as well. So we have the Owlcat, and we're gonna have the Rainbowfish. So that's pretty good. We can play the Oblivious Islander and the Rainbowfish. I think I attack. I think there's no reason not to. I need to hit the Rainbowfish, I think. That would be the best one for us to hit. I guess we can also hit the Teemo. Doesn't really matter, but it has to be the Rainbowfish. That way we can pass it over to the Hungry Owlcat. And we hit the Rainbowfish. Great, great, great. So we can go like this. So that we have a blocker here. Because what happens is that the discount will stay on the Rainbowfish forever. So now for the rest of the game, that Rainbowfish is actually going to be 3 costs. The ephemeral, and it doesn't matter because it doesn't pass on the ephemeral to the unit that it's attached to. This is even better now because the Owlcat is going to be really big. It sucks that they're putting at the Poke Stick, but that's okay. I mean, it's going to be expected. We can go Grandfather Fae. I don't know that we go double Grandfather Fae. I think I just land the Rainbowfish right now. I mean, like next turn, but I guess we don't have anything else to do anyways. Yeah, I guess we just play it slow. Opponent's gonna get a Terra next turn. Ooh. I guess now I can certainly play it slow. Yeah, opponent's gonna get a... For sure, it's gonna get a Portal, because that's the last draw that they need. You go here. Now Rainbowfish will forever be 2 costs now. Go first Owlcat. I'm not gonna play the second Owlcat. I'm gonna leave the second Owlcat in my hand. So I'm gonna leave the second Owlcat in my hand so that we have something to give the elusive to if this one dies. I guess now we can get another one though, so maybe it's not a big deal. Let's go here first.
Mama's got a gun.
This is gonna create an elusive attack here, which is gonna be a 4. Opponent kills Yuumi, which could be a problem. There it is. Yeah, because I figured that this one is gonna die because of the spell shield, right? So I figured this one is gonna die. Doesn't die right away, so we get our 11 hit through. Don't know if it's necessary for us to play these Hungry Owlcats yet. We wait for this one to die from the Yuumi or something similar. And then we settle for the next one. Ooh, they're digging. They're digging. If we block this here, there's a chance that the opponent has 2 things to actually kill this with, but I guess I have to take it. I might just pass. Really? Oh, that's a lifesteal.
On it and on him.
He's a lot of damage. Oh, it's gonna be a freeze. Okay, I could have preemptively. So the opponent wants to get rid of that Rainbowfish, right? So I need to just go Glimpse. I could also go ahead and go the Spell Shield now, and just force the opponent to have a way to remove this. So if the opponent doesn't have a way to remove this, we go through. Alright, they have the second Poke Stick, so I guess we go ahead and take the Glimpse down. That way we still, because if we let the Entomb go through, opponent will be able to blade away my Rainbowfish, and we obviously don't want that to happen, right? We want to have this Rainbowfish in our hand. Opponent will be able to heal for 4, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. We're gonna have another Rainbowfish. Yuumi is not yet leveled up. Let's go here. Let's go another Owlcat right away. Let's go another Owlcat right away. We block, block, block. We can put. We have a second Rainbowfish, so now we can have double elusives. Because what our opponent's trying to do is remove multiple spell shields at once, right? gonna go like this. I'm pretty sure the opponent has a way to remove the spell shield. I'm gonna go here on this one first. Have the opponent do the whole spell shield thing that they have. I guess I can play a second Hungry Outcast for now. Wait for the opponent to do something. Yeah, there you go. I figured they had a way to remove the spell shield. Like, they telegraphed that. They telegraphed that pretty heavily, right? So we're gonna go the second Outcast and then give the second Rainbowfish to the second Outcast that has spell shield. So the opponent's gonna have to have a freeze for that first one. If we get Atrocity here, we'll be in a good spot. Opponent already used Pokestick, double. Didn't they use a second Pokestick earlier too, right? Yeah, they used double Pokestick, double Spears Unleash. We open attack so the opponent cannot get the Sejuani. I guess he has to be, right? Because it's too easy for the opponent to have a way to stop this. Yeah, they're gonna have a freeze, or it could be an entomb on this one. Yeah, that's okay. So we lose one Rainbowfish, the one that's discounted. We still push 7. And we're looking for...
I'm ready to play, bop, and knock over some cups.
So we're looking for...
You drop.
Oh, nice. I don't mind the draw. We're looking for Atrocity, right? So as long as this is not an Atrocity, we're okay. It's a second Yuumi, which is useless to us, so that works perfect. That works perfectly. We can block, block, block. Yeah, we can block, block, block. This is presenting lethal. This is presenting lethal. We can glimpse now. If we get Atrocity, okay, that's not presenting lethal anymore. Block, block, block. We can block all 3. But then this Alcard is not really doing much. Still presenting lethal. The opponent's gonna have to have a third freeze. Okay. So now we are forced to play this second Hungry Outcast. So we're forced to play this second Hungry Outcast because otherwise... otherwise we're in a bad spot, right? And we can glimpse this one because this one is not trading. So we're still looking for that Atrocity. Gnar. Let's draw first. Let's draw first and see what happens. This is still pushing 11 because the Yuumi's gonna add an additional +1. That's the Atrocity. So we have the Atrocity now. We can play the Gnar, play the Commando. Opponent removes the spell shield here, so they're looking for another freeze. We can always transfer this Rainbowfish if we need to. We have enough mana for Market House and Atrocity. Problem is that the Gnar is not really doing much. Alright, Gnar is not really doing much. Gnar is not really doing a lot. So if the opponent has another freeze, that's going to be a problem. But I think because we have access to Atrocity that we should be able to win this game. They do have the Nets freeze. Wait, really? That's triple Entomb. I don't think opponent has anything else that they can do here. So I think I'm just going to go like this. That way I get the Yuumi back. I'm going to do the Atrocity right now. That's their third 3 sisters. And their third Entomb. And there we go. Yeah, I think it's better because remember, if the opponent obliterates, it means that the attach goes away, gets obliterated as well. That's why we glimpsed it on the very first Entomb, and then now this will be Atrocity instead of waiting until after the attack. That way we actually get the Yuumi back in our hand, and if anything, we can transfer over to Mr. Gnar and wait for another Atrocity on the next turn. So, GG's opponent. Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that game with like the Shadow Owl's Faes. You see what I'm talking about, right? Like you just get all these owl cats that end up having Rainbowfish on it. You even got to see the combo where we got to put double. We got to put double Oblivious Islander on the Rainbowfish and ended up costing 2. Unfortunately, it ended up getting obliterated. But you know that's gonna happen every now and then. It was crazy that the opponent ended up getting the triple 3 sisters, but then you even got to see how Atrocity can come in clutch just to push that little bit of damage that you need left to push lethal through. Just just remember how attachment works. It's very similar to equipment, so it does get obliterated. It does get removed and completely obliterated by stuff like Entomb or Bury in Ice, which I think will be the main weaknesses of our deck. But enough about that one. I think that was a really fun deck. I recommend trying it. The next that we're going to showcase today is going to be Galio Udyr. Now, obviously, Formidables are in a little bit of an awkward spot because if you run into Shadow Owls, it's going to be really hard for you to actually do anything in this against this deck, just because against Shadow Owls, just because they have access to Quietus. So Quietus lets them kill pretty much anything that we have. Now, with the idea with Udyr plus Galio and the whole package is that you're able to use the stand swaps to give your formidable units regeneration. Especially the key unit that we want to do that on is going to be the Broadwind. So yeah, so this deck was all the way last in April. Back when Udyr had not been changed yet, back when Formidable had just come out, had like 2 months to come out. So let's kind of look at how that deck is used to look in the past. Actually, this was already after the Udyr change because we have access to Inner Beast. Yeah, so this was right after the Udyr change. We were trying out how that Udyr change could apply this. Now, the main combo of this deck, like I said, is that you're able to put the Regen on the Broadwind, and then you have a really, really big challenger that has 5 power for the rest of the game that's going to be able to regenerate over and over again. Obviously, you can put other one of those stand swaps on other units, like you can put on the Screeching Dragon, does a similar thing. Now you're going to have access to a regen on the Screeching Dragon. Obviously, like that, for the most part, to be honest, is the Broadwind. Broadwind used to carry, because this was before Broadwind also got nerfed. This was before Broadwind lost his challenger and got, he would just have challenger when you summon him instead of having to summon another ally. So Broadwind used to just carry. And then eventually you also have Udyr as an alternate win condition and Galio to kind of give us some rally. And we also get access to a lot of strikes because we also have the regen. We have a lot of ways to trigger the stand swap. So this is kind of like a way to like kind of turbo level Udyr. Now the new version of the deck is very similar to the old version. I went down on one Avaros and Sentry, right? I got rid of the Hiara All-Seers because I don't think the Hiara All-Seers are all that good. And for those 3 cards, I just went up to Darking Spear. Because Darking Spear ends up being really, really good with this deck, right? Because you can put the Darking Spear on your Broadwind, and now your Broadwind is already a 0-5. Then you add the regen to it, and it becomes a 0-7. So all of a sudden, your Broadwind can pretty much remove everything in the game, including like an unlevel Aatrox. Then you're adding another couple of stand swaps, and then you can just go from there. Obviously, you also have additional health that you can put to the Protege. You can use access to Troll Shen. You have the Consider Strike in single combat to put a lot of damage. The Inner Beast. It's all about on the back of the Broadwind, to be honest. It's more of a champion than the Udyr and the Galio are. The Udyr ends up being really good, though. The Udyr, again, ends up becoming really big really quickly, which can allow you to stall out the opponent out as well, especially as you have access to strikes to be able to defend the Udyr and get rid of the opponent units. And then Galio can kind of top it off by giving your Broadwind and your Udyr even more health so they can become more tanky. The rest of the deck is kind of just cards that lets us support those champions and that strategy, with the Durant Sculpture giving us extra health, a lot of generation for the stand swaps. We played the Hound as an early blocker because there is a lot of aggro stuff, same thing with the Tavern Keeper. But yeah, for the most part, it's Broadwind and the Udyr show for the most part, and that's what you want to go for. So let's jump ahead and see how this game goes for this deck. In this match, we're going against Caitlyn Teemo. We don't have a lot of draw, so it ends up being okay. I don't want to draw. I think I need my Broadwind, right? I need my Broadwind and my Durant Sculpture. The Udyr, I guess, could do some work here. The problem is that we're gonna be in a clock, right? We have no way to kill Teemo because we mulligan the single combat away, which I think is fair because we don't have a way to beat the. I guess now we do because of the Inner Beast, but we didn't have a way to beat the Mystic Shot or similar, right? So let's see how we do this. We play Broadwind on 1. I mean, not Broadwind. Oh, okay. Now maybe we play the Sculpture instead. But I still don't want this Sculpture to die to... I don't want the Sculpture to just die to like a Mystic Shot. So I kind of don't want to play it either. Next turn, because he loses to a Mystic or a Thermal. The opponent gets their Tito. Like we expected, we don't get Broadwind. So that's a little bit unfortunate. We could go for the sentry instead to try to look for that Broadwind.
Let's get to work.
They're out there.
Yeah, let's go here.
I'll spot
I guess opponent could still have thermal, and that could be a problem. They get some mana back here. Oh, that's the Broadwind. Nice, 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 nice. So at least we have a way to kill Teemo now. Opponent, unless opponent has 2 more Teemos in their hand, they can't really level up the Teemo, right? We can play Sculpture, save mana for Inner Beast. If the opponent plays Kaelin, it's a little bit annoying.
Depot flammables on the trail. 4 out of 10. Swiftly.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. I still think we have to just go ahead and block the Sheath, right? We'll have to take the 4 and also take the Puff Caps and the Flash Bombs.
Look out for Reavers.
Which means that we get to draw into them right now too. Don't want to play anything yet, right? Because I wanted to play around. I wanted to play around like any removal, but now we can go ahead and do this. We can go Bulping Wonder. That gives me access to the regen next turn, to be able to actually give regen to the Broadwind and making a really strong unit that the opponent has to deal with. And this is also obviously very good for us. Okay.
Sigil shows them where their spells can help.
We're gonna go ahead and just challenge that Tito before he can level up. We have single combat if the opponent plays a second one. And we have regen for the Broadwind next turn, which is gonna start kind of helping us out. We can also just play Udyr instead and have the 0 cost regen. That also works. And because that still gives me access to single combat or Inner Beast, as long as I don't do anything else here. So what do you have, opponent? So again, the game plan with this deck is that we want to put regen on a really on one of our challengers, right? Usually, I still think I go after the Teemo. I know this is going to be very annoying to deal with, but I think I need to go after the Teemo every single time. The Peddler is going to put a lot of Flash Bombs in my deck. But I think the Teemo is more crucial. Now, if the opponent actually does something here that causes me to have to use my 2 mana, then I no longer think that the Udyr is the right play. Because then we would have access to single combat. We will take the Flash Bombs from the Kaelin. We might not have to anymore. Okay, so now you can't even attack with Kaelin. So you can't attack with Kaelin anymore because you decided to wait. I don't know about this one. I'm gonna let him do. I'm gonna let them do what they want to do, whether it's Mystic or get excited or something similar. And then we go Trolshan, and the opponent cries. Udyr stays at 3 HP, which means that he stays out of range of almost everything else. We still give the Broadwind the regen. This Broadwind's gonna be now a 5. Well, actually, a lot more than 5 because he got buffed up. It's gonna be a 6, right? Gonna be at 6. Ew. We could go Darking Spear. I don't even know if it's necessary though, to be honest. What does this get punished by? We could go Darking Spear here instead, because I want to play Inner Beast, right? I'm always gonna play Inner Beast, so opponents probably wanna block here. I think I don't play the Darking Spear, because I think I'm always gonna play Inner Beast here to have this Udyr get a 0 cost stand swap.
Would a mushroom help?
Double spell. But they only have, I guess they do have 2 Flash Bombs.
I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
If you're just relying on a second get excited here, it's not gonna work for you. I think opponent's just gonna get blown out by our combat tricks. Like absolutely blown out. They did discard an Insider Knowledge earlier, so it's likely to have a second Insider Knowledge. Wow. So we just go here, right? We just kill the second Peddler. Is it worth it to keep this culture alive? So actually, there's a chance that this culture eats up the thing, right? Yeah, I think we just go like this. There's a chance that the sculpture eats up the flash bombs anyways. Okay, he ends up eating up here, so this ends up dying. Oh, this ends up dying regardless. We can put regen on the Udyr now. We lose to a get excited, I guess. On one of these two units. We have single combat for a Teemo. Alright. Let's put regen here for now. Get our guys back to being healthy. We can play another Wonder, giving myself access to another stance swap, which is going to level up Udyr. We give the Udyr the Overwhelm. We have the Challenger here. And we're okay. We have 7 mana next turn. I'm debating if I want to actually play a second Wonder. I don't think it's necessary. Now, this is a lot of puff caps that we're eating up, right? So if the opponent has Karina, it could be really problematic. Yeah, if the opponent has Karina, this could be problematic. This could be enough for them to have lethal. They did already use one Insider Knowledge and discarded the other one earlier. We can play Stance Swap. Single combat the Teemo if we need to. Okay, so, I mean, because we have single combat, I'm not scared of the Teemo, right? And because we're going to have Overwhelm here, we have way to percent lethal, regardless. Kaelin again.
Practice, as they say.
I guess opponent wants to push the 2 damage from Kaelin. So Kaelin is pushing 2 damage because only 2 traps got triggered, right? The reason I don't mind doing this right now, even though it costs full mana, is because we have access to Inner Beast for plus single combat to get a 0-cost stance off again. We can also play the Booping Wonder afterwards and also do the same thing. If the opponent has no other units, we actually just win by having the Booping Wonder and pushing damage that way. And there's the Teemo. So now we can single combat the Teemo.
Teemo, that is not regulation equipment.
Huh. What if we deny him the hit? No, because I want a single combat with the Udyr, right? I'm debating if I actually want to deny him the 2 damage hit right here. But then that means that we potentially lose to like a Mystic or something. What if we don't need the stance swap? Right? Because let's say that we block here. As long as we commit the Protege, we're okay, right? I mean, sorry, as long as we do the Hound, we're okay because we still have lethal that way. We deny him the flash bombs as well. And then we pull Kaelin last. So we can play the Hound here. And this is exactly 15, as long as we pull with the Broadwind. Opponent could have access to like a Mystic though, so maybe we actually need to commit other stuff first. We could play the Anaka. Gives me an extra unit. Karina. Oh, this is tough, right? Because any damage removal stops the Hound from actually doing much, right? If the opponent has Karina, I guess we only have... There's a chance that we draw all 8 if the opponent has Karina. If the opponent has Karina, we definitely join all 8. We could make it so that Udyr by himself can finish the game. But then if the opponent has Karina, they also have another blocker. I'm gonna slam the Galio.
Let's get to fighting.
If you have the Karina, you have it. Okay. So
Wondrous discovery.
this is still lethal here. Because of the over one pushing 10? Okay. Yeah, if they have the Karina, they have it. I feel like if they had Karina... I mean, they did get to draw 3 cards. So Karina would have made sense for them to have drawn into. But yeah. We got to see, though, the power, right, of the region and the Broadwind. Just letting us have, like, a consistent threat that the opponent has to deal with. This game didn't go long enough for Galio to even matter. But you're just gonna see where the stance swaps with the Formidable comes into play. So GG's. Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that game with Udyr Galio. You gotta see what I'm talking about. That Broadwind ended up being a really big threat. Obviously, we were going against like a Teemo deck, so they were not able to just put enough pressure on us. But that Broadwind is enough to stall out a lot of people, right? But again, the weakness of that deck is always gonna be Quietus. It feels really, really bad to lose a big, big Formidable unit to Quietus. And I can't believe that card exists after Formidable was released. Like, it was literally the perfect counter for Formidable. It wasn't like Formidable was even that strong. But I digress. The next deck that we're going to showcase today and revisit is going to be Ornn Master Yi. Now, this deck I showcased 4 months ago, so it's not that old, but I think it's old enough to go back and revisit a little bit because I haven't showcased it again in my channel since then. And we actually reached Masters with Ornn Master Yi back in that season over 4 months ago. Really fun deck. Obviously, the idea is that you're able to just kind of have like a Master Yi and stuff like that, right? So you're able to kind of have like a Master Yi and just push a lot of damage. Have a Master Yi with an equipment like an Overwhelm or Scout and be able to copy that with the Ornn and be able to just attack with both of them at the same time, or have the big Overwhelm on the Master Yi to present all that Overwhelm damage. So let's take a look at how the deck actually looks. Now, the deck back then used to play triple Iron and Tailstones. That's because Iron and Tailstones were still giving you access to Health Pack. So it used to be a really nice way to trigger your flow on your Master Yi, as well as be able to trigger your Dragon Link for very little commitment, right? It will let you heal your Nexus, keep you healthy. Losing that is actually a much bigger deal than we realized, because that health bar was keeping us alive a lot of times, and we also got access to the Homecoming to kind of protect ourselves from some opponent's lethal. So having complete loss to that is a big deal. The rest of the deck is going to be mostly the same though. Again, you kind of just trying to stall out with the Dragon, different stuff like that, until you're able to get like a really good equipment and be able to copy it to Master Yi and the Ornn. So the idea is that you're able to kind of just put the equipment on your Yi, copy it with Ornn at the end, and be able to go through. If you're able to actually level up Master Yi, when Yi attacks, he will actually level up your Ornn right away as well, allowing the Ornn ramp to come in at the same turn without having to first like commit something. Obviously, now that the Ornn bug got fixed as well compared to when we first showcased this video, it's actually really easy to level up your Ornn. We just need to actually be able to stall out long enough. And that's why we play Ionia, so that we have access to Deny to actually protect the Ornn. Now, the new version of the deck does changes a couple things, right? I like the Darking Fan, because I know it doesn't give us any help, but I think the Darking Fan gives us an additional Dragon Link in the case that we don't draw out the Dragon, to allow us to give us more survivability, which I think is important now that we're no longer playing the health bot. I still like the Ornn's Forge, but I did go down to just 2 Ornn because I found that 3 Ornn ended up being a little bit too awkward because of how expensive it is. The units are pretty much the same as we played before, because I still think the Hookmaster and Comeback Hook are important, because the best weapons that you can get are going to be Overwhelm or Scout. Both of those are really important for both Master Yi and the Ornn. Then on the spell side of things, even though we lost access to the health bar, we can go ahead and add Tomb Forgiving Call. I know it got nerfed, but I think it's necessary for us to be able to deal with those 8-shots and King decks. We are going to add Inner Beast now as well as an alternative way to get Overwhelmed, or any other stance off that we might need at the time. And I did go down to just a single Entrancing Lore, because we're really going to also have Sonic Wave, which I think is going to be more important. And we also go up one more Momentous Choice. So the spells is where I kind of ended up changing the most. Like, I got rid of the Syncopation as well, got rid of the Demeditation. I ended up changing the spells the most to kind of fit the rest of the stuff that I wanted to fit in. But the deck still suffers from the same thing. It's just a little bit too slow to really get us to our win condition. It is good and could win you some games, and as you saw, we have reached masters with this deck in the past. But as the meta continues to evolve and get faster and faster, and you still have those big like Aatrox Canes running around, it can be a lot more difficult to actually get and push the damage that you need. So give it a shot, but be warned that it's still going to be as inconsistent as it was before. But you can get some very cool stuff with Ornn, as you see in the game coming up soon. So enjoy. In this match, we're going against Seraphine, Ezreal, Bando City. So this is, and by slightly, I mean, I was going to say this is slightly annoying, but it's actually very annoying. I'm gonna kick back the Inner Beast, although the Inner Beast might be nice with Master Yi to save him from like a get excited, for example. I think I'm just gonna go for the double Disciple play here. I was gonna kick the Master Yi for an equipment card. We end up getting it anyways. Yeah, let the opponent commit the group shot now. That's okay. I think we go Hookmaster and go Disciple and just try to do it again. Yeah, we go Hookmaster, then we go Disciple, try to do it one more time. We beat a Poke Stick because of the Inner Beast. It has to be Overwhelmed. I think it has to be Overwhelmed, because that's what presents the damage here with the Ornn. So this Overwhelm is a way for us to set up for the Ornn in the future. We're gonna go second Disciple here. We can beat a Poke Stick. We don't beat a Poke plus Group Shot, but they already played Group Shot, so it's unlikely to have a second Group Shot. We want to give us the equipment, that's fine. We don't beat a Mystic Shot. Okay, we do beat that as well. And that was created from Conchologist, right? So that was created from Conchologist. Opponent doesn't get any value from that. We can go Combat Cook and then open attack with the Shaman Wind. That's probably the best way to do it. The Tough is the best thing that we can get here. They have a really hard time dealing with Tough on our units. So they have a much harder time dealing with Tough than anything else. Okay, Lifesteal is very annoying though. I'm gonna open attack, I think. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna open attack. Get some more draw here. Go like this. Opponent doesn't want to block. Turn 7 is when they want to go the back alley bar, which allows me to play the Ornn on turn 7. It's Obliterator. So that way we lose the Tough equipment now, huh? We lose the Tough equipment, which like I said is one of the ones that the opponent is really scared of. Unfortunately, that Victor, sorry, is gonna get really big. And Master Yi is really far behind from actually being able to do much, but at least we get some value here. The Unforgiving Call is not a bad way for us to kind of cheat out some damage. We let them lifesteal, I guess? Let's go here. Let's just put more health into a Master Yi. Salt Fumes. The problem with this is that I'm still dying to a Mystic Shot, right? Okay. Also still dying to a Thermal. Let's see if they get it. I don't know that I like... Okay, alright, they tapped out a Thermal. What I was gonna say is that I don't know that I like using the Fisher Whack now. But I think we can do it now. I think we can do it now and just copy it with Ornn. If the opponent has the way to kill us here, that's fine. But I think opponent is more likely to try to play their back alley bar. And I'm just going to play the Ornn here, which is going to level up our Ornn because Master Yi is going to attack for 8. Opponent cannot play back alley bar here if I just straight up lose him, in my opinion. The Ornn is not going to die to the Victor, even if the opponent has the head score upgrade. And even if he dies, by that point, this is really going to be... So you got the Thermal now, then? Oh, wow. They created from Conchologist after the fact. Alright. That's fine. I still get what I wanted to here, which is to forge this. And the Ornn levels up and has Tough, which is going to be really difficult for the opponent to deal with this stuff. Doesn't block with the Victor,
Now this
which I think is a
what
mistake, because I
good
feel like the only way that you kill this Ornn is by actually putting damage on it. So now you're gonna be hit by 2 overwhelms next turn, because we can make our Ornn even stronger. The challenger is gonna get punished by the Unforgiving Cold. So we have enough mana here to go Unforgiving Cold. Even if the opponent gets Spell Shield, it still loses to the Unforgiving Cold, and then our Ornn is gonna be almost impossible to deal with for the opponent. I guess they would need to have a stun. Yeah, I guess they would need to have a stun. Yeah, if we just go like this, how are they dealing with this? What if it's actually regen? What if it's actually regen? So that if we take any damage next turn with Ornn, Ornn can stay alive. I actually prefer the regen instead of the +2/+2. Okay. Remember, we still have Unforgiving Cold, right? So when the opponent tries to attack with the Victor, they're gonna get punished by it. Maybe they play Seraphine here. Maybe they play the Seraphine here, and that could be problematic. They need to have access to like the stun. Yeah, so now that becomes really problematic for us. We can no longer play the stance swap. And I'm not gonna tap out of the Unforgiving Cold. Opponent knows that I have Unforgiving Cold. Now, the Ram only gets the stats, doesn't actually get the keyword, so it doesn't make sense to the Spirit's Refuge. We just have to Unforgiving Cold that Victor because he got Challenger, and we should be okay. We'll have access to a lot of value here. Like, I don't want to give them this, but start a Disciple for free, right? The very annoying part here is that the opponent will still get the lifesteal from the Victor. So the opponent will still get the lifesteal from the Victor, but that's not true, because we can punish that by going for this. Not only that, but now this is actually even better. Alright, so let's think about this. This is gonna take our Ornn enough to commit lethal against the Conchologist, right? What if we go... Okay, so this is gonna be 2, 4, 5. We have 12. 12 minus 5 is going to be 7. And then we still have enough to go for the Red Spirit. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to Shaman Wind. I'm going to give the Shaman Wind the Challenger. I'm going to give this the double up. Oh, wait, that's a mistake, right? Yeah, I messed up. For some reason, I thought that I would be able to challenge this after the Ram. But it doesn't work like that. It's still lethal regardless. And we have access to the Unforgiving Cold to stop the lifesteal. Yeah, we have to just keep the mana for the Unforgiving Cold to stop the lifesteal.
Oh, you sound great.
Opponent wants to level up that Seraphine. They need to have exactly stun. It has to be exactly stun for them to get there. Has to be exactly Wallop. Because we did a slight whoopsie just now, we're gonna have to just keep the Unforgiving Cold for next turn anyways. If it's not Wallop, we're fine, and opponent still has to sacrifice the Seraphine as well. And there we go. Slight whoopsie on my part. For some reason, I thought that I could do like the Ornn and then the Ram, and then pull all the way to the end. So the play was always to just pull with the Ornn, save our 2 mana from the draw, and kind of go from there. But you get the idea with this deck. It's a little bit difficult there to obviously to ever have Master Yi stick on the field. But the Ornn, because it has stuff, is so good against the opponent. So GG's. Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that game of Ornn Master Yi. We got to at least see Ornn level up and kind of do a lot of pressure. We couldn't have asked for a better matchup, right? Because the Ornn tough makes it really difficult for the Seraphine deck to be able to do anything against Ornn. And then we were to just push damage that way. We did a small whoopsie, but that's okay. We still got the victory. The last deck I wanted to showcase today is going to be Renekton Akshan. Now, we have showcased a lot of Renekton Akshan in the past before, but the last 2 times that we showed Renekton Akshan were more with the Treasure of the Sands and like not really committing to the original purpose, which is Papercraft. So this version that I'm showcasing today, like these two versions before are playing Demacia. The version that I'm showcasing, that I showcased 6 months ago, is playing Bando City, because we're going with Renekton Akshan Papercraft, which used to be one of the top decks in the game 6 months ago. So we're gonna see, even after the nerf to Papercraft, where now it costs 6 mana, if we can still kind of make this work and potentially be able to sneak in some lethals with the Papercraft. At the same time, though, those cards that were released with throughout since then, like the Berry Armory, are still good enough to include even this version of Papercraft. So let's kind of take a look at how my deck list is gonna look. And here we go. This was like from 6 months ago, and a lot of you people actually watched this. It had like 5,600 views, which usually is the indicator that one of my videos has performed really well when it can pass 5,000 views. So let's see how the list back then looked compared to how it looks today. Now, again, this deck back then was all about the Papercraft combo. Papercraft used to cost 5, so you used to just commit to a lot of units, even the Yoda squad with the tiny spear, and all you were doing is literally waiting until you have Ruin Runner, buff her up as much as you can, and then be able to play Papercraft on her, and then just pretty much OTK the opponent from like 20 to 0. Because of the double Papercraft Dragon, it gives the Ruin Runner double attack, right? So now you have Overwhelm, double attack, and Spell Shield on the Ruin Runner, which means that you're able to just... It's very hard for anybody to be able to beat you, because you also have Runner Negation to deny, like if the opponent puts 2 spells on the stack to remove the Spell Shield, you can just completely stop it with the Runner Negation. It used to be pretty nasty, and this is a good reason why the Papercraft got nerfed, because it used to be really, really toxic in my opinion. Obviously, the whole idea of action is that you add a lot of consistency to the deck by having the Warlord's Palace and be able to get your combo pieces to actually be able to combo out. Now, the version today looked quite a bit different, because now, since this version was released, we got access to equipments. Now, equipments are a little bit awkward now, because obviously you cannot have an equipment and an attachment unit at the same time. So we are going to go down to 2 Papercraft, because at 6 cost, they're very expensive, and you don't want to have 2 of them sitting in your hand where we don't have a way to actually discard them. As long as we're able to draw 1 is fine. It also makes me feel better about keeping a Papercraft in my mulligan, because I know that I'm only going to have 1 more, and it's going to be very unlikely for me to draw that second one and break my hand. So by going down to 2, I'm not afraid to keep a Papercraft in my hand, even in the mulligan. On the other hand, now we have Berry Armory and Darkened Bloodletters. Both of these, the Berry Armory is really good because obviously the Treasure of the Sands is an alternative win condition to put in our Ruin Runner or our Renekton in case that we cannot get a Papercraft combo. The Bloodletters is nice because we can always, at the end of the day, it lets us turbo level the action landmarks by being able to kind of cycle the Bloodletters. And at the end of the day, we can always play Solani from the Bloodletters, which is another Overwhelm that we can attach the Papercraft Dragon to. If for some reason the opponent has killed a Renekton and a Ruin Runner already, or if we haven't drawn them yet, right? We can always play Solani, sacrifice the Dark Control, and attach Papercraft to her, and kind of go from there. It's a very expensive play, not gonna deny that, but it is a situation that we can get to. Now, I also changed a lot the early units. So if you notice before, you play like Yoda Squire, Concologist, Rockhopper, I kind of completely changed all of that. We still play some Yoda Squires because the Tiny Spear could still be really good, but I like the Bird, because the Bird can go onto the Papercraft Dragon, for example, and now that's going to be 3/3 forever. Or it can go into the Ruin Runner Renekton, all of those which are really good for just for free. Forsaken Bakai, so that we can more consistently get our combo off and pick exactly what we want, right? So I think I prefer these 2 one-drops over having access to the Concologist and the Mercy and the Rockhopper, sorry. The rest of the units are more or less the same. Also, we kind of changed some buffs here. I don't think we need Absolver anymore. Or Wallop. I don't think the meta is in a position where Wallop is necessary. Wallop was really good because of the mirror, because you were running into this deck a lot of times. Now Wallop can still be good against like Aatrox and Kayn. I don't know if I still like it though. Now on the other hand, the Absorber, because again, it is easier to level up our champions now, but actually it's a lot harder to level because it does require 1 more tick. So I don't want to rely on the Absorber. I want to just make sure that I get Ruin Runner Renekton instead and kind of go from there. So that's kind of why I end up going like this and cutting this to instead go for the landmarks and the equipment instead. The deck feels really good, but it still can be very inconsistent at getting your combo off. and can get punished by stuff like Unforgiving Cold, which is a really big punish because she goes through a spell shield regardless. So this is kind of like a Rumble deck if you want to think about it, except a different version of Rumble where you rely more on Papercraft Dragon to kind of push that lethal. But enough of me rambling, I've been talking for a lot. Let's see how this game goes. In this match, we're going against Kayn Aatrox, which is one of our worst matchups because the opponent has access to Unforgiving Cold, right? So the access to the Unforgiving Cold means that the opponent can easily just stop our combo, even with the Papercraft Dragon on it. Or even with the Spell Shield on it, sorry. On the Wound Runner. So even if we go like Wound Runner, Papercraft Dragon, they still just beat us. It's a little bit of a shame. I guess let's go Renekton. I need to have a big Overwhelm to set up for the Papercraft, so I think this is fine. Oh, I hate this matchup. I hate this matchup. I really lost two. Like, I keep going just against the same Akshan Aatrox players. I hate the matchup because, again, it means that the opponent can easily just go Unforgiving Cold and win the game, but it seems like they're fully bricked here. So we might be able to just combo out anyways. We didn't get the Berry Armory, so our Renekton is not as big as I would hope.
I will take this power in my
We just go Renekton. I don't think there's any need to go to Akshan yet. I think we can go Akshan next turn. Wow, not even an equipment on it? I don't know about that. Okay, so we can go Akshan first. Let the opponent play their Kayn, because I'm guessing they have Kayn. Yeah, they have Kayn, like we mentioned. We go here. Renekton gets to kill the Kayn.
and paint our faces with their blood.
And this should be okay. I guess opponent could have momentous choice. Nope. Yeah, this is a bad one for opponent. So, you know what? I'll take this. I'll take this. Again, I keep getting beat up by the Unforgiving Cold, right? That I'm fine taking this. We can just go... I guess the opponent could still have Unforgiving Cold for next time if we go Papercraft Dragon. But I think we just have to slam it, right? I think we just have to slam it, and if the opponent has it, they have it. Yeah, I mean, if they have it, they have it. This enables me to get a Sandstorm Charger as well. So I think this is absolutely worth it, right? Because we can go Ruthless Predator and then Sandstorm Charger. Opponent could have access here to the second Kayn. Lets them kill one of my units. And also gets them the red Kayn. Just as expected. Now, the problem with this is that you're losing to a Pokey Stick now, right? So now you have to hope... Oh, no, that's not true, because they have access to Quick Attack, right? So now the opponent knows that we have Pokey Stick in our hand. This still requires them to have exactly Unforgiving Cold. Still requires them to have exactly Unforgiving Cold, huh? We have to open attack to play around the third Kayn.
They will fear my name.
Yeah, we have to open attack to play around the third Kayn, otherwise we're just losing here. It also means that we can obviously get the extra health from the Renekton. If we go here, if the opponent has another Kayn, they get to heal up to 5. And they still have access to Unforgiving Cold. We have to just open. We have to just open. Yeah, I think we just open. I think we just open.
Chase them down.
And we go like this. Sandstorm Charger. If the opponent has Unforgiving Cold, they freeze this too, and then this still pushes damage. So they need to have Unforgiving Cold plus Furious Will, right? And this is forcing them to have 2 things. Otherwise, the Unforgiving Cold was enough to stop both my units, but this is forcing them to have 2 things here. We pull the Ras last, because the Ras is gonna... I guess he doesn't get to heal, and they have both of them. Okay, it might just be double Furious Will there too then. It is double Furious Will there. So that does let them heal by 1 anyways, and gets to keep... Jeez! Oh, this is rough. And that's with a bad hand, by the way. This is how bad this matchup is, right? So this is with the opponent having a really bad hand. And they're still in a position where they could just finish us off. So I'm gonna have to go here. Let's try to draw. I think I'm gonna need something better in my hand. Maybe we should have drawn first before we did the Merciless Hunter. At this point, I'm just gonna go wide. Yeah, because the problem is that this is gonna have a lot of health as well. I'm gonna go wide and I just have to pray that the opponent doesn't have Unforgiving Cold. If they have Unforgiving Cold, they just win. Yeah, so if they have Unforgiving Cold, they just win against my Boom Runner, even through the spell shield.
Seen tombs, towns, and everything in between.
So I'm at the mercy of the Unforgiving Cold. Opponent really committed double Furious Will there, and they have another Cane last turn. So Papercraft, has to be Papercraft because she's not enough by herself. So it has to be Papercraft. Opponent definitely has a bunch of like spells and other stuff in their hand that we haven't seen. Has to be Papercraft. This is enough to level up the Aatrox, but the Aatrox level up doesn't matter against the double attack. Because we'll have access to the Shapestone, so that if they actually go for the World Ender, they actually lose the game. Now, they could have access to... And no, because if they try to go for the Strike... No, it does work. If they have a second Aatrox, they also get there. So now if they have a second Aatrox, they also get there, because they'll have access to strike twice. They had 2 spells in their hand. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Wait, opponent just lost. You either have the momentous choice or you don't. You either have the momentous choice or you don't. That's so greedy. They should have just done the 8-shot sweep on the Rune Runner to remove the spell shield. So now the 8-shots dies because this is dealing... Oh, they should have done it on the Bakai. So now the 8-shot is gonna die unless they have exactly momentous choice. And they just tapped out of Unforgiving Cold. They actually had all the answers. This is how bad this matchup is, right? This is only the strikes, but also the freezes. So... I think as long as Aatrox is meta, unfortunately, I don't think this Papercraft deck can really do anything. And they have a Spans Protection regardless, right? So they have the Spans Protection. However, what happens with the Spans Protection is that the opponent cannot play the Aatrox dash, right? The opponent doesn't get to heal here. And they get to live at 1. No, they don't. If I pull like this, they lose the game because the Overwhelm goes through. This has... Yeah. We get to pull the Ras anyway, so they did end up losing because they had to use a spell to keep them from being able to play the second Aatrox sweep. Wow. Yeah, so by pulling the Cane, we allow our Overwhelm to go through, but this matchup is a nightmare. This matchup is a nightmare. So, GG's. In this matchup, we're going against 6 Talia. Now, most 6 Talias are no longer playing like Quicksand. So that's good for us. I don't hate this whole hand. Maybe the Vagabond is the only thing that's a little bit awkward. But even the Vagabond doesn't seem bad. Because he lets me start advancing my Warlord's Palace. Now, oh wait, no, the Vagabond is bad because the opponent's always going to have access to Desert Naturalist. So I don't think that Vagabond ever matters. The Berry Armory is good because we can combine that with Papercraft. Right? And whatever. I guess we can't. No, sorry. Yeah, I keep forgetting. We can't do that. Yeah, because it's the attach and the equipment kind of like intermingle each other. But we will have options for both, right? We will have options for both. Now, you know what? If the opponent has dropped the bomb, I think I'm willing to eat the drop the bomb here. That's not a drop the bomb. So now we have an action with Treasure of the Sands. So we have a 6/6 action just on the field, just like that. And the opponent's gonna take the damage, setting up for, oh my goodness. The opponent knows what we're playing, right?
Friends do make chores easier.
Wow.
Cool eye patch.
I want to get this Warlords of the Palace enabled as soon as possible. Now, we cannot block with action, because if we block with action, we're losing to a Rite of Arcane. So I think we block here instead. And we go here. And that just have a second action, because it gives us access to the hit, right? So we can go like this. This means that we beat that Desert Naturalist. So now we're able to kill the Talia, for example. So opponent tapped out a Desert Naturalist. So what if we just go Renekton and just set up the Papercraft next thing? So we can put Papercraft on Renekton and just win the game then? So if we put Papercraft on the Renekton, how do we lose this game? 6 doesn't matter to me. It's not pushing that much damage. Opponent, like I said, most of these decks are no longer running Quicksand. And the Quicksand doesn't even stop the Overwhelm here anyways. So we have double Shapestone. We will have to use one of these here, though. We will have to use one of these here, which kind of sucks. I think I have to play the Papercraft now, right? I have to play the Papercraft now because the opponent could have access to Pokestick, and if they have access to Pokestick, I think I'm a little bit more worried about that than I am about them having access to a second Rite of Arcane, right? If they have a second Rite of Arcane, that's okay. If they have a Pokestick, that's a little bit more annoying to deal with. I'm willing to block the 6 here. It has to be a second Rite of Arcane, right? Now we can just do this and have a blocker.
Yeah, but the big ones are, well, bigger.
So now we even have another blocker here. So we can block here, can block here. I guess if you have the Pokestick, I'm losing to that. I'm losing this. I'm losing the action to the Pokestick. I'm losing the action to the Pokestick. I think I'm okay with that. I think if I lose the action to the Pokestick, I'm okay with that. Because again, this is just gonna present lethal here. And there we go. Opponent knows what's coming next turn. And we win the game. I should have done the Sandstone Charger, by the way, right away. Before I committed for the Papercraft. But I didn't think about the opponent actually being crazy enough to attack with everything. So, GG's. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those 2 games of Renekton Akshan. Honestly, I kept losing against Aatrox. So I wanted to include one Aatrox game that we could win. But man, every time they just have so many strikes and so much room for giving calls that it's very easy to stop us. We got very fortunate that the opponent started with a super awkward hand there, and we were able to stop us. But even with that awkward hand, they almost won, right? They almost won if they didn't misplay by doing the Aatrox sweep on the wrong unit. That's how close that game actually was. Now, in terms of whether I suggest to play that deck or not, I don't know. I think Papercraft is just a little bit too slow. If anything, I think you're better off actually just playing Renekton Akshan with other stuff like Demacia without having access to Papercraft, and instead rely on like your stretch for Demacia like Cataclysm to kind of be able to push that lethal and be able to kind of turbo level Renekton instead. But that's gonna be enough for today's edition of Timeless Tuesdays. As always, if there's any deck that you want to show that you want us to showcase in the next edition of this series, just let us know. Put a comment below. There's a deck that you haven't seen in our channel in a while that we showcased before. We're more than happy to showcase it. Just leave a comment below. Tell us what you want to see, or if there's any other deck as well that you want us to give a shout out. Let me know and we can try it out. That'll be it for me today. If you like our content, make sure to like this video below and subscribe to us. We post a lot of videos every single day. You can also find us on Twitch at Sirturmund. We stream every now and then, and you can also find us on Discord and Twitter, where we put where we post every now and then as well. So yeah, enjoy the games, enjoy your day. I'll see you all again tomorrow.